It's showtime.
Down to business. I got my wild cherry Diet Pepsi, and I got my blackjack gum here, and I got that feeling. Yeah, that familiar feeling that something rank is going down out there. The gutter.
It's a nice spot.
The gutter.
And if you can't believe it, it's a Friday once again.
Good. You're not coming home. Where can I go then? You can go to the gutter where you belong, you filthy pig.
The stuff that dreams are made of.
Huh?
The 1930s, a decade scarred by strikes, crawling with communists, crooks, but I repeat myself, and confidence men, and an air thick with cronyism and cynicism and cheap cigars. This era of America needed something stronger than sermons and more than just a laugh to entertain. The answer? A lineage of fists passed from generation to generation like a loaded revolver. They needed the Phantom. No origin soaked in radiation or alien birth. This here is the original, the one that formed the mold, the ghost who walks. A whispered warning in the jungle, a superhero that knew the simple truth that fear travels faster than truth, that legends last longer than flesh because the costume survives when the wearer did not. Pulp purity in its most distilled and comic strip-oriented form, the Phantom stalked the comic inserts with conscience. He stood for that natural law that exists without paperwork, justice without a bench judge, and violence applied with a gentleman's restraint and a boxer's precision and power. He was, and still is, an industrial-aged knight. Tonight, we find the Phantom in the gutter because everyone ends up here eventually, even the original Masked Crusader. Welcome and good evening. I am Aldous. I am your host. My co-host, as always, is JP. JP, how are we doing tonight?
Good. I actually have 2 opening questions. Have I suggested that song before, and what did you think of it?
That was good. That was a good instrumental beat, man. I dug that. And I do not recall you suggesting that before.
All right. Well, it's one of my favorites.
But it should be noted that the other one you suggested was would not help us on YouTube at all.
Gotcha. So no Wu-Tang Clan.
No, there was a lot of hard R. Lot of hard R.
I'll keep it soft from now on.
There you go. No, that was good stuff, man. It was a good one. So let's turn to the chat before we get into the book tonight. Obviously, we are looking at Mad Cave's first issue of The Phantom, and there will be a little bit of a prologue to our review of this book tonight, because I've got to give everybody a little bit of context, because The Phantom means a little too much to me to not give a little bit of history. So that will be in the next segment. But first, let's greet who we've got in our chat here on the main show. We've got Citizen Ronan saying, what's up, everybody? We've got Hojo saying, greetings. I have my hobby horse now. I've named him Genuine. Oh, my God. I'm sorry. I'm so terribly sorry. Because he's my pony. Oh my God, what a beatdown Indiana. It is fucking magical, man. It was.
That's my alma mater.
I don't give a shit. I'm going to just deviate slightly into sports ball for a moment. This is the first year that my son has really been into football, And he was playing College Game Day. 26 on his PlayStation 5 that he got for Christmas that he paid half for. He saved his money and paid half so he could get a PS5. Still impressed. But he's playing that and he stops it and he puts the game on because he's like, Dad, I have to watch this epic beatdown by Oregon. This is never going to happen again. This is a once in a lifetime thing.
No, it'll happen. It'll happen next year.
Oh, that's what I told him. No, this happens all the time. And he's like, no, this is once in a lifetime. And he was deadpan serious. So that was pretty awesome. But what else we got? We got Snuggy Junior's in the chat. What's up, chat? What's up, Snugs? Always a pleasure to see you. Thanks for joining us. We got Quiet Red Media. If you're not familiar with Quiet Red's got a bunch of cool shit. Bunch of cool apparel, bunch of awesome books. Go check out his link, his on Twitter, and then check out his link. I should have had that up. I'm a terrible human being for not having that ready. Ethy Van Seether, does this star Christy Swanson? It does not, but it should, man. Everything should star Christy Swanson. I just read the first issue of this last week. Finally, it's way better than I thought it would. Yes, it did impress me, and we will get into that tonight. There's a couple of negatives, a couple of critiques I have, but overall, I was impressed. Well, what did you think? Were you generally impressed, or?
I enjoyed the beginning, and then I found it starting to let me down as it progressed. So, not unlike the Mad Cave Dick Tracy.
Oh, those are fighting words. I do have to preface this. This is a recent release, so all of the pages we will be showing tonight, I have had to blank out all of the dialogue on. For a little bit of background information, I shit all over the guys that were relaunching Dick Tracy, and Mad Cave. They kind of pushed back a little bit, and then all the creators on the Dick Tracy book blocked me. So I'm very careful with how I do because I don't want a copyright claim. So just so you're aware, all pages today will be completely blanked of full. I should rephrase that. All full pages will be blanked of dialogue and narration. However, I am under fair use, fully okay to show portions of pages or just panels with full narration and dialogue on them, as long as they don't show full pages. That will be happening tonight. But despite my previous issues with Mad Cave with Dick Tracy, I really enjoyed this. I thought it was good. It has its slight flaws, but overall, it's a pretty good book. But let's continue here. We got a couple other people in the chat that we need to say hi to. We got the real hosty. Howdy, y'all. Great to see you, man. Thanks for joining us. And scrolling down, we also have none other than the man himself, Henry Bemis. Henry Bemis has joined us, as well as Phil. Great to see Phil from Zaid Comics. And who else we got? Anybody else new? Henry Bemis says, I was watching a Korean cooking competition on Netflix that was oddly fascinating, but now I'm here in the gutter. Ooh. So earlier tonight, Mrs. Aldous and I sat down and we started watching a movie. We started watching Argyle, and we got about 45, 50 minutes into it. And I looked up from my phone at the same time she looked up from her phone, and we went, Are you enjoying this at all? I'm like, no, this is terrible.
Yeah, it looked bad.
And we just shut it off and went and we
It's
ended up
about
watching
the author who her world is actually real or something.
Yeah, it's just bad. Like Rockwell's good in it, but Rockwell, I love Rockwell and everything he's in. Sam Rockwell's a great actor; he's always good, but yeah, he couldn't save it. The writing's just bad, and yeah, we ended up watching the old, Last Stop at Willoughby, Twilight Zone episode instead of finishing the movie, because that's always our go-to. It's always a good one. Jason Sandberg has joined us. If you have not had a chance, head on over to IndieGoGo.com and check out Jupiter issue 2 and sign up for Mr. Sandberg's book, because it's awesome and needs more people to jump on board. Oh, what else we got? It's a hard R as in Raiden. Ooh, that's kind of spicy. That's kind of spicy. Eric Von Stugel says, Christy Swanson. Oh, yeah. Can't go wrong with Christy. Can you go wrong with Christy? I don't think you can.
I don't think she was in a lot, was she?
The Chase.
Her star faded pretty fast.
The Chase
with
Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
That's and Buffy. Those are the only two movies I know her from.
The only real Buffy.
The only real Buffy, indeed. And Hojo says, I heard somewhere that no serious superhero wears purple. I have no idea where that came from. That would be an incredibly retarded comment to make, because the Phantom is the original superhero. And let's delve a little bit into that. If I could, just for a moment, because I have to do this, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. If you're familiar with anything that I'm about to go over, it is what it is. The Phantom was created by none other than Lee Falk. This is Lee Falk when he created the Phantom as a younger man. He was born Leon Harrison Gross on April 28th of 1911 in St. Louis, Missouri. He created both the comic strips Mandrake the Magician, as well as our topic tonight, the Phantom. The Phantom, it should be noted, at the height of the strip's fame, was easily being read by over 100 million people across the world. This strip is still being printed, written, and drawn by people across the world. This strip is epic in its scope of its resonance. It has pretty much died over here as a character in the States. But throughout the Philippines, India, most of the old British Empire, actually, it retains a huge following and is still a big thing. And this was the arguably, and I say arguably in quotes, but this was about a year and a half, if not 2 years before Superman. This is the first costumed superhero. He's not a superhero in that he has any powers, other than the lineage of the Phantom is passed down from generation to generation. It's handed off. And the Phantom always remains. And whether it's twin 45s or twin automatics or fists, he's always the Phantom, and he's always fighting for what's right and what's just. Lee Falk was also a highly regarded theater director, having worked with such luminaries as Charlton Heston, Paul Newman, and Marlon Brando. However, sadly, on March 13th of 1999, he passed away at the age of 87. So we lost Mr. Falk. And here is Mr. Falk in the 70s, towards the later end of his life. I don't have any. I wasn't able to find any pictures of him immediately towards the end of his life, but this gets you an idea of what he looked like. But Mr. Falk was just the writer. He came up with the concept, and unlike Alex Raymond, who created and drew Flash Gordon, Lee Falk was just the creator of the concept and wrote the strips. He worked with numerous artists, two of which we are going to talk about a little bit before we get into the book. The first was Ray Moore. Ray Moore was the first artist that was on this. Moore developed pretty much the standard concept for what you think of when you think of the Shadow from his first few, at least, years, with kind of a heavy ink line, the dark glasses or the goggles over the eyes. That was what Moore brought to it. And then later on we have Cy Berry, and here we see Cy Berry drawing the Phantom. And where Cy comes in is Cy gives you the more athletic build, and it's more of that imposing, almost Adonis looking form of the Phantom is where Cy comes in. Cy was pretty much the comic drawer up through, I think, the mid 80s, if not I think he started in about the 60s, late 50s, into the 80s. But we have numerous things to talk about in regards to how much this medium expanded for the Phantom. Obviously, you had the newspaper strip. This is from a collected work that was assembled in the 60s of the newspaper strip. The Sing Brotherhood was the first arc. When you talk about comic strips, everything in comic strips in this era really starts with the Phantom. And it starts with the Sing Brotherhood, and these are story arcs, and they were arc based. So you had a series of serialized stories that were under one, and then they would spin that out and end it, and then they would start another. And these were dailies. These occurred daily. Every day there would be a strip that fit into the story. If you missed one, you missed one. But they kept on moving as a story. And in addition to that, you also had a serial. This is actually the next serial that we will be watching over on the Wednesday show, which is the 1943 The Phantom serial. After the kind of the ebb and flow of nature in the way entertainment works, the Phantom moved over into comics, specifically Carlton Comics, and Carlton had a really strong run on the Phantom. And then, of course, in 1996, we had the Billy Zane starring the Phantom movie, which was didn't really land well. Similar to the Shadow, it didn't hit the numbers that they were looking for. And since then, we really haven't seen much from the Shadow. There are also novelizations and books, some of which Lee Falk himself worked on. This is one in particular, which is The Story of the Phantom, a novel by Lee Falk, The Ghost Who Walks. But last year in September, Mad Cave, who has been on a roll, relaunching Flash Gordon, relaunching Dick Tracy, who we have talked about, also relaunched The Phantom. And when they relaunched The Phantom, they relaunched it with two covers. The first one by Freddie Williams II, which is this one, and the other by a gentleman that needs really no introduction within this space, which is cover B by Kanan White. So that was, in both these, I think I liked the second cover better than the first. Did you have a preference over either one, JP?
No, that's really funny because I didn't know that. And Kanan White has done both covers for Noirlem, and I like the first one better.
So you were more of a fan of this one with the spider web?
Yeah.
Any particular reason, or just more resonance? Like, just sings to you a little bit more?
I think I like the colors, and I like the pose a little bit better.
Okay. I do have to, man, I thought I was all prepped, and then I'd completely messed up, because I have to talk a little bit about the credits on this. So this is written by Ray Fox, The artist is Russell Olson. The letterer is Taylor Esposito. And as I said, the cover for the primary cover is Freddie Williams II. But I gotta pause for a minute and talk a little bit about Ray Fawkes. This is Ray Fawkes. He's the writer for this issue. He is an Eisner awarded or nominated. He hasn't.
That's a shame.
Yeah, but he is an Eisner nominee. He's predominantly an artist with his history and work. This is not his exclusive writer work, but I think this is his best. He did a really, really good job in this issue of getting there and establishing the tone that he wants to do. And he also does something unique that I think JP is going to focus on here when we get into the story, because I'm going to let JP kind of sing a little bit more on story than me. But with that being said, I really like the front matter design on this, and I want to spend just a moment and talk about it. One of the things that Mad Cave really does well in this issue, in this take in particular, is that little skull that you see in the Phantom. That's really important because they use that in every narration bubble that starts off a narration series where the Phantom is narrating. And it's a really great little layered moment that I thought was magnificent. And it seems so small, but it's such a small touch that they added it in. And there's a couple things that I want to talk about in the narration on this, because they do the narration really, really well. And I don't know if that's Fawkes. I don't know if that's Esposito. I didn't even bother reaching out to Mad Cave because I know that we've already got bad blood because of the Dick Tracy comments before and then the review. So I did want to say, though, this, before we go into any of this, this is a full recommend. We only read issue 1 for this show. I was really impressed, though. I thought it was a win. I haven't gotten to issue 2 yet, but issue 1, win, full recommend from all this. JP, you're welcome to say if it's a recommend from you now or to hold until later.
I would say it's a wait and see. Like I thought it was really just okay. So I don't even know. Like to offer like a 50,000-foot summary. I don't think I'm going to remember this issue in December when we do our top 5 or bottom 5.
That's fine. Usually you don't remember anything until after March anyway. So
yeah, fair.
Quiet Red Media asks, Williams did a bunch of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? I believe you are. I think Williams did do a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles a few years ago. I'm not 100% sure, but I think you are right. But to move into the book, I want to talk a little bit about page 1. So page 1, we immediately start off with action, which is an excellent choice. Like, they could have started off with exposition, but they don't. They start off with action. I liked this. However, the art style is immediately bothering me just a little bit because it's very comic books or comic strippy. And I expect something a little different. But after about 3 or 4 pages in, because they are so consistent, I don't have an issue with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I found it to be, it's a little bit too, it's actually a little bit too cartoony for my taste.
Yeah, I think that's the way to put it, more than strippy.
Yeah. Yeah, like what's that art school in San Francisco? Cal Arts. It's a little Cal Arts.
I wouldn't say Cal Arts. I would just say it's drifting in that direction, which bothers me.
Yeah. And it's it's wildly inconsistent.
There are some inconsistent issues, and we will get into those as we go through. But so here in panel 3, you see that first instance of that half skull float over, and it's a great idea. It's really, really good to do that. I loved it that we're color coding all narration. 2, we've got this great little layover over the top of the first time you get any kind of Phantom narration where it's either an internal monologue or he's narrating the story, which we don't know at this point. We're going to find out shortly. But with that purple on light gray within white text, what ends up happening is it's really kind of hard to read because you've got two tones with white on top, and it just didn't kind of work. Like, I think it would have worked better if the skull was black or if the text was black. Does that make sense, JP?
Yeah. I also think I would like instead of bang, something like ting.
Yeah, more of a ricochet sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we beforehand, before we get into this too
But I
much,
do like the yellow star and then leading the action.
oh no, and that's the thing. As simple as the art is, and I shouldn't say simple, but as I don't know, basic as the art is at times, the sequential art in this, it hits every note that I want it to, and that's why, like, after 3 pages into this, it
Yeah, you
didn't bother
settle in.
me. It didn't bother me anymore, and I settled into it, and everything's fine. It's just not what you would expect for like a premiere. Like, if we're gonna relaunch the Phantom, right? I would expect a little bit more oomph behind it, and we don't have any oomph here. They're not blowing you away with anything
Yeah.
in this
But I
book.
mean, credit where
It's
credit's
a
due.
really sorry. Go ahead.
If you're looking at any panel or any page, visually, the most interesting thing in it is the Phantom.
Yes. Yeah, no, I do agree with that. They did a good job of always, if there's an engaging moment, the Phantom is always the engager. Like, your eye focuses on him or the action that he has caused. So he is the focal point of almost 90% of the issue. So in that, they did a really good job. But my only critique would be, like, this is the Phantom. This is a really big title, and I feel like they're really underselling the art here. Like, they went with somebody that just kind of delivered. Like, there's not even like a really good splash in this book. Like, the best splash is like and we're gonna get to that. But then you flip over to page 2, and we get this. I really, really liked this. I think this was probably one of my favorite panels in the book. Is panel 2 below. The pilot of the plane that crashed. You get the one lens is broken in his sunglasses, but you get the reflection of the Phantom punching him in the other as he takes a shot. And I liked the bang, being how it's positioned. Like, that was really good. And this is one thing they do really good. They play real subtle with it throughout the book, but the G from the bang breaks the upper border just a little bit, and I liked that. Like, it's just subtle things like that they play with throughout this book, where the gun in the top panel breaking the board. Like, they play really, really nicely with how they break the border and win. And it really works with the context of the book. It feels contained when it needs to feel contained, but it breaks out just a little bit. And that subtle aspect of it is very much appreciated. I thought that was really good.
Yep, no notes.
And then we go over to page 3, and this is where I start having some issues. Is we get kind of this, I'm not going to say it's overly written, but man, the dialogue at times, it gets a little clunky.
I would say the dialogue, yes, but I enjoyed this in terms of a storytelling mechanism.
I think that's the best way to put it. Like, it works. It works. Like, I've got no critique in how it works. It's just, man, it kind of takes me. You just had a great action beat, and then you take me into this. And you had a particular moment that you wanted to talk about, which was these 3 panels.
Well, I mean, this really had nothing to do with the writing and more to do with this was the moment where I started noticing that this book was made in current year, because his face on the left is not particularly masculine, but she is. You know what I mean? Like
Yep. Oh, square
look at
jaw.
that look at that silhouette, you know, she's got as many curves as a box. And it's like,
Yep.
yep, that's how we draw women this year.
Well, I'm going to push back a little bit because he is masculine in the third panel because
Yeah,
you
sure.
do get the muscularity of the chest accentuated slightly. So
Right,
we
but in the
do have
left,
that.
that's the face you make when your wife's boyfriend brings home Doritos.
Right. Cool Ranch only, by the way. Cool Ranch only. But then we move into page 4, and I really liked this. I like the layout. And we're playing with structure. We're playing with meter and rhyme. They're doing some good stuff, and I'm happy overall. We go to page 5, and this is where the story starts getting a little. It's a good story, but like it gets a little fucking dumb.
Yeah. And it's kind of hard for me to comment on it without veering off into politics, but it's like, you remember how we watch those old serials that talk about like foreign and exotic lands, and they're portrayed in a way that like a lot of people find really offensive. To me, this is like wanting to play in that house, but wanting to try and like correct it in some way. So it's like,
Right, it's like
this is
you're
what a
running right up to the pylon that you
yeah,
well, here's the thing too.
this is what a
The
remote African village that has no contact with the outside world looks like. Don't pay
right,
attention to the fact that the houses look Western, the clothing looks Western. Just run with it.
exactly, and it's running right up to the pylon and then, like, dodging around it and acting like you did something.
Yeah.
It just it doesn't work. So I wanna talk a little bit about this. Again, we have the Phantom narration, and what do we have? We have the skull. And it's the village of Bandar is nestled into the deep woods. Barely number one, woods. Why woods? Why not jungle? They're in
Yeah.
Africa. Just say jungle. It's okay. It's okay to say jungle. You don't have to follow it with bunny, but you can say jungle. It's okay. Like they're going out of their way. In at least that's how I read it. Because when you think of a woods, like a woods is in like a temperate climate. We are clearly not in a temperate climate. Like, just say jungle. Why are we so opposed to saying? But that's neither here nor there. And then we turn the page and we get this great moment where he's training and he's practicing and he's showing his power, and we get a really nice splash for the intro. But you were comparing to this, I believe, to like the white savior.
Yeah, I mean, I really wish there was just no writing here, because the description makes it sound like, like he's like the Phantom is like the good one. You know what I mean? Like I'm there, but like everybody thinks I'm really cool, and all the kids want to mimic me, and it's just like I don't know why any of this writing is here. Like it sounds like the writer is again trying to go right up to the pylon of what a typical story would be that was once considered offensive, but trying his best to outright that.
No, and I think there's if anything throughout up to this point in the story, there is a general hesitancy to they understand who the character of the Phantom is. They understand where the story needs to go, but they're dancing right along the edge of what they need to do to
make it a Phantom story.
Right, make everything make sense so it can be a Phantom story without crossing that line. And really what they need to do at this point is just cross that line.
Yeah.
They need to just say that like these people couldn't do it themselves, and so Kit took over. And it was the mantle was handed to him, and he is who he is, and just accept it. But they can't do that because it's
also,
like
I just noticed if you look at the person who is to the left of the Phantom's inner left thigh, there's a foot, but it looks like his scrotum is hanging out.
Yes. Well, there's a bunch of people looking right at the Phantom's groin, which is kind of weird. But then we go to a decent exposition page, but
Yeah.
again, this is where the art started kind of going like downhill for me. And
Mm.
the art is a roller coaster on this. It's all acceptable. It all works. But you'll have one page where you're like, man, that layout fucking hits.
The
And then
best
you'll
way
have
I
a
could
page like
describe
this
it
where you're
is
like, eh.
the best way I could describe it is the artist could draw the shit out of a jungle, but when it came to a skyline, they did not care.
Well, it's little things too. It's like, okay, so you go down to panel 3. Do you see that like shadow that's on the right side of panel 3?
Yeah.
Okay, well, when you position the person in panel 4, it looks like their shoulder is square. Because it looks like they're bridging the gutter. That's not the intention. But like,
Okay, I
there's
see.
no reason for that to be there. Just make it an open space.
Mm.
It's not adding anything to the panel in panel 3. What you end up doing is making it look like the gutter is separating his shoulder, and he's a robot on the other side. It's uh, it bothers me. There's a couple other moments in this book that bothered me, but I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed it. I liked it. It's just I'm being a little overly critical because that's what I do here. And so then we get this, the back and forth between the chieftain's son, who's been lifelong friends. The chieftain's been lifelong friends with this iteration of the Phantom, and so the son and the Phantom are having a good conversation, and that extends into this, and then we see planes coming down. But you wanted to talk specifically
Well, this
about
conversation just pisses me off. Like, just like he's like, my dad's dying, man, and like like you can. There's a lot of ways you can respond to that, but him just being like, nah, he's fine. Like, no, man, his dad's dying. Like, nah,
Well,
you don't know.
I think this is again. I think this is this is the delta. This is where we separate. This is where the crew for the Phantom on this book from Mad Cave separates themselves from Dick Tracy. I never got the impression that any of the people involved with the Dick Tracy book actually read Dick Tracy, like the original Gould Dick Tracy strips. I got the impression from this that the people involved in this actually read the Phantom strips, because this is a very Phantom response to somebody having an emotional reaction. He's very cold, because the Phantom wears a mantle that is handed down from person to person. But when they accept that mantle, there's a responsibility that they willingly take on that has generations of history behind it. And so they lose a little bit of their individuality. At least they should lose a little bit of their individuality when they have that. And so it should be a little difficult for whoever takes the mantle of the Phantom to talk to a son whose father is dying in any respect of remorse. Like it should feel like he is saying, like, no, the honor will fall upon you. And yes, he has lived a long life. And yes, he has developed great honor. However, it is your job to take that up. Like, I liked that, because this feels within character for anybody that would be wearing the mantle of the Phantom.
Well, I want to know a little bit more about, because you can see that he says right here that his dad was in dire straits. Like, that's really cool. Like, he, like Sultan of Swing, like,
there you go.
What instrument did he play?
We're the Sultans. The Sultans of Swing.
I think that joke was worth it.
It was. I give that to you. And then we get the title again with that, and we're back to the white savior thing, which I already showed, apparently. Then we go into the next page, and again we're slow. And this is my only irritating thing with this goddamn book, is every time we kind of get moving, we slow it down. And I understand what they're doing. Like, they're building up they're building anticipation and then dropping it down a little bit, and then building anticipation and dropping it down. But after like 3 times, I'm getting a little irritated now. And
Wait, this isn't the same page that you just showed?
and the dialogue's getting a little old. Oh no, it is. I'm sorry, but I want to be here. So we get the plane, but it's the same thing. We get the plane, and we build up the anticipation. It's fine for pacing, but like just get to the action beat, and the action beats the crash, and we get the effect, and then we turn the page, and then we've got more dialogue. Like, this is where action beat we need to see the Phantom like moving through the jungle with narration up to the plane crash. We don't need 5 panels of exterior narration, because it's too much, man.
Yeah, you're covering up the depth.
Right. It speed this up. This should be like, this could easily be a 28-page book that's an absolute fucking banger by cutting out 6 pages, because you could cut a bunch of panels in this. And then also, we're up to page 7, or I'm sorry, we're at page 11. I haven't had a great splash of the Phantom doing anything yet. Like, why not give me a great splash? It's still a fun read, but I need something to move me forward and really like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get it.
And then you turn the page, and then we get this, or I'm sorry, this was still on this was on page 11, panel 3. We get again that narration bubble. I like the narration detail, but then we get the Phantom saying, "Wait, the plane crashed." Like, why is he saying, "Wait, rush, get there"? Like, there should be an urgency. We turn the page, and we get to page 12, and then we get a flashback, and it's him again talking to his girlfriend. And this is where I also had an issue is, yes, we are using different background colors to determine what is present day and what has already happened for the story, because you know that the plane crash happened in the past and his conversation with his girlfriend is occurring in the present. But we have abused narration up to this point, and we're not gonna let you know, like, then now. Like, just let me know then now. Like, that's not hard. Like, why would you not just tell me that? We just dealt with this page, which has a shit ton of narration.
Do you think we're also abusing the flashback a little bit?
A little bit? Yes, a little bit. But like, if it's gonna be a page, dedicate a whole page to it. Why are we only using half a page?
I also don't like the explosion in the text. I would just want there to be more explosion there, because now it looks like something is exploding outside of the explosion, and it kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that. So then we go to we do get a little bit of the last panel here, and this is just fucking cringe, man. Like, this is not good. It's not great. And this is the thing. If you're going to do this back and forth within the timeline, at least make it good. But I know you have to go to work. Be careful, my love, and call me if you need me. I always need you. Like, come on.
Do you think is it affected at all by her having elephantitis of the face?
No, it's just it's the aspect of the, like, how is he gonna call her? Like, okay, so he has a cell phone. Where? He doesn't have pockets. Where's the Phantom carry his cell phone?
Wait, when does the story actually take place?
Oh, this is modern.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I like it even less.
Now, this is this is a 2/3 page splash. This is the first splash we get as the Phantom goes out. This is great. This is where I need the Phantom to be. And this is where the book really starts to work for me. Is they're hitting it in all parts. They're doing everything they need to do. This is good. This is really good. Like, give me more of this, please, as I flip through it. And then they start to do that because I get this, which is a really nice, slow progression of the events. Okay, the plane has crashed and we've got a problem. And now we're doing exposition of the Phantom realizing that, hey, I know what's on the plane now. I realize what's happened. Here's what's going to happen. And it's exactly what happens. And yes, that's convenient for plot, but it's also showing that the hero is aware that, hey, whatever was on this plane is going to be wanted by somebody. And this is how I think it's going to go down. And it starts going down that way. I liked that quite a bit. And then we get to the reveal of our villain. And the villain reveal is just as the Phantom has his own narration style, the villain has his own narration style. The Phantom's is in purple with the overlay of the light gray of the skull. The bad guys is in black and red with the overlay of this red image. And I liked that. I thought that was cool. And then we get this, which is kind of a little over the top of just, okay, we're doing what's going on at the background at the base, and the Phantom's kind of infiltrated. That's fine. And then we get some action shots. Another cool action shot. Best 2 panels of the book right here. If each copter has this many men in it, then there are 15 back at the village, give or take, plus the pilots. That's if they stick around. And that's if they don't, it's going to be difficult enough as it is. Like, I liked this where he's being analytical and he's breaking it down based off of what he sees at the base that he's at versus the village that he just came from. I liked this dichotomy where he's explaining it. Like, I wish we had this efficiency earlier in the book. This is good use of time. I like this. What were your thoughts, JP?
I like the action, but this is where I'm really starting to fall out of love with the art style because it's starting to look more and more like a WikiHow page.
Ooh. Okay, I can see that. And then we jump back to the village as the Phantom is kicking the shit out of the people at the base. We jump back to the village where the Van Sang have landed, and he's given his speech. And his speech fits into something that I think you want to tie into a little bit later as we reach to the end of the book. But he says, people, if you please, my name is Aleph Singh of the powerful and wide-reaching Singh Brotherhood. Perhaps you have heard of us. Perhaps you have heard of me as well. And then you get the back and forth between him and the chieftain's son. And then you get kind of this, which I'm assuming is you're kind of doing the villain, the villain corollary for what we saw earlier, which is the savior, the villain savior. I'm going to save you as he's doing the Christ-like motion.
Yeah, I just thought that this is like I just really don't like having blackout over most of that panel. Like, look at that from that perspective at the bottom and that screen cap from the Warriors, and now look at that panel. Like, the bottom one is what you were going for, but up top it looks like you just blacked out half the panel.
Right, and I think that's where this, and I'm going to call it a simpler art form, or I'm not going to say rushed because I feel like that would be an insult. And I don't want to insult anybody on this book because I enjoyed this book, and I'm looking forward to reading issues 2 and 3. If they continue everything that works in this and improve upon the things that don't. But I agree with you in that there is a sense that there's a lot of corners being cut, and I don't think those corners need to be cut. There's no reason. This is the Phantom. This is a book that should sell really well, that by all metrics has sold really well. Man, just
put the effort in.
Yeah, like hire somebody that's going to do what needs to be done because as you show here, this should be done. And then we get to the last, and we go to the Phantom's watching all of this, and his narration is it's a little clunky to end the issue.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, I fundamentally don't understand what is the point of Singh trying to sell himself as being a, oh, I'm actually very benevolent,
well, what
and
it is they're
he's gonna double cross him later, but like it was like 2 pages later. Like
no, well,
you
they're adapting a comic book, the original strip, which was
ah
and they're doing what was done in dailies, and they're trying to extend, like a story across 5 to 6 dailies into a single issue and a monthly. And I think that's where the execution goes wrong. I think there could have been a little bit more work done in the editorial and a little bit of a heavier hand applied to go like, I think you need to dial it back just a little bit and slow this down. And the way I would end, if you're going to do the back and forth story thing, the best part is Kit talking to his girlfriend and reflecting on this story. And that's your introduction of the character, right? Instead of it, we're going to do a cold open instead of a hot open. And I'm going to have the story's already done because you know that Kit's going to survive. And it's him telling this story of the Singh Brotherhood to his girlfriend for the first time. And that's how I would introduce it. And it's Kit maybe 2 to 3 years into being the Phantom, and he's telling of one of his first forays as being the Phantom, which they kind of start doing, but then they back off of. And it's almost like they were scared to do that, because if you do that, you lose a little bit of what the Singh Brotherhood branches off for in the history. But I think it would have really benefited this story if they just would have kind of jumped ahead, set it in like, instead of a Batman year 1, set it in like a Phantom year 3. Like he's already well established, but now he's got a little bit more of a solid relationship with his girl, and that's when he reveals to her who he is and why he does it. And he's in the city of New York, and he's doing everything that he's doing instead of back in the jungle. And he's telling her the stories before he came to New York. You know what I mean? Like I think that would have been more engaging. Because then you would have been able to catch up real time. And then you've got, I mean, you could do 24, 32 issues of him just catching his girlfriend up, telling him stories of like, hey, this is what I did before I came here. And then lead into, and then I came to New York because I followed this criminal enterprise, and then I did this, and then we met, and then you could get into the dalliance of, oh, I've got to hide what I'm doing while we're dating until I get comfortable enough that I can trust you with who I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then when he's in New York, he and his gang can try and get their way back to Coney Island in one evening.
Exactly. That's precisely what I was going for. But no, overall, I thought this was I thought it was a very serviceable attempt. I thought this is Mad Cave's best attempt at any of their formats. We have not talked about the Flash Gordon reboot that they did yet. But this, between this and the Dick Tracy one, I thought this was miles better written and drawn than the Dick Tracy one. This was really, really good. And I do recommend checking this out. I think you can get this issue. I think they're on issue 3 right now. There's 3 issues that are out. Each one's it should still be available. I know you can get them online for like $3 to $5. Yeah, this is if you're a Phantom fan, if you're a fan of the Billy Zane movies, I think you're going to enjoy it. If you have no idea who the Phantom is, I think this is going to be a hard sell. I don't think this series is going to work for you. But if you like the Billy Zane movie, if you liked the Phantom, I think this is going to hit all the buttons that you're going to want to go with. And I think I would recommend it's a recommend for me. It's a check it out. What are your thoughts?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, mid. That's my one word review for the week.
All right. Well, with that being said, I think we're gonna call it for the night, and we'll be back next week with another book. and I will be dropping the link in the chat if you want to join us. And I apologize that I didn't really check the chat that much, but we kind of blew through this one. We had more to talk about in the book than I thought we would. So thank you so much for showing up in the chat. And here's the link if you'd like to join us in the back room. There's a bunch of you that show up week after week that have yet to join us in the back room. We'd love to hear from you. Whether it's feedback from the show, tell us that JP's your favorite and that I suck. Tell us that I'm too wordy and use too
And I'm
big
too
of words.
flirty.
Oh, too flirty. There you go.
Ooh.
But either way, have a wonderful night, and we will see you, if not next Wednesday at the show, for sure next week. Have a wonderful evening. Take it easy.
This is blood for blood and by the gallons. This is the old days, man, the bad days, the all or nothing days. They're back. There's no choices left.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.